Welcome to Detours, Understanding Acquired Brain Injury.
Cool. So I'll be switching over to Kate, and she'll show us some of the and talk quickly about some of the different things that you can do when you're at home to work on this, or if you have a mild traumatic brain injury and some of the activities. We'll join Kate here in just a moment, and we'll be switching over. Hi, Kate, and good evening. This is Kate here. She's working on some of her activities, and we have a friend over who Kate likes to spend time with doing different kinds of activities. So puzzle here. So do you like to do the puzzles usually as some of your activities?
Yes, I think we've talked before about physical things that we can do to help our brain. Obviously, there's mental things as well, and they don't have to be boring. You don't have to think about doing mindless exercises or reading and learning. Puzzles and all sorts of puzzles, these kinds of puzzles, word puzzles, crossword puzzles, anything like that can so-called stretch your brain, and we can try to get back to where we were to start with. It's also nice having a friend to do it with, just as challenging.
Yeah, sometimes just a chance to chat and jokes and stuff like that. I mean, good
Exactly.
Lord knows.
We have a lot of fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Do you find there, like when you were in early stages of recovery, you preferred some other kind of activities that you found more helpful when you were starting out, or did you mainly do puzzles to start?
Well, when I first started out, I preferred things I was doing alone, actually. I was having enough trouble concentrating and thinking that interacting with somebody else at the same time, I think was going to be a little difficult. So I think it's something we've migrated towards more. Janice and I both like to do word puzzles and number puzzles, and
Right.
now we are doing puzzles together.
Is there anything that you would recommend for somebody? I mean, like if they find, because this is actually difficult, because having to identify like lines and spaces and the color differences and things that you might think that somebody who maybe has some visual perceptual problems or like cognitive or memory issues that were really significant that might help them.
I'm not an expert in that, but putting together puzzles, you're looking at shapes of pieces, you're looking at colors of pieces, you're figuring out where things go in space. I think that all of those things can be challenging.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person that would do a white puzzle.
Right. Oh God. Yeah.
And you can say to those people, hey, you're not getting the color cognitive functioning.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking like there, and then board games, of course. I mean, socialization, I think, is equally important here. I mean, if nothing else, it works on your speaking skills or, stuff like that. I think that is equally, cognitively developmental. But it's like, of course, I don't know if I'd recommend Monopoly, though, as my kind of game for this sort of thing. I think I got more likely to get into a fight with somebody, but nothing that triggers your anger or your irritability, right?
I don't think I've gotten that passionate about Monopoly.
No, you haven't. No.
No,
Hey, that's no Boardwalk. You can't buy Boardwalk, and because I got Park Place. And then what about those? How do you feel about like a paid cognitive rehab series, like something recommended by Neuropsych or something like that? I know they're like Luminosity or something like that.
Yes, Lumosity is one. With things, supplements, nutraceuticals, therapy type things. My caution is it probably won't hurt you, but don't spend too much money on it if it's not really proven.
Right.
My concern would be spending a lot of money on something that doesn't end up doing you any good, and then
Right.
Lumosity has you could start by doing it free.
Okay.
Now, there's some personalization and customization you can do only if you buy it. I don't think it's terribly expensive, though.
Okay.
The results are probably not as wonderful as they advertise, but my understanding is that they can be very helpful.
Right. So I'll provide some links below if people are interested. curious to try that kind of thing. Again, not necessarily wouldn't say endorse it, but it's worth at least a try to see how it goes for people. What do you think about like just your thoughts as far as things you've tried? Like, have you tried any games, or like whether it's cards or whether it's just like something with a video game? I don't know, like popping of balloons or like Candy Crush or stuff like that. What are your thoughts as far as that's concerned? Just your own experiences
I
with that.
haven't done video games so much. But I think anything that requires you to learn a skill and then use it could be helpful. Unfortunately, you probably should do the ones that are harder for you and that you don't enjoy as much.
Yeah, you want to push yourself beyond where your edge is, and that's something to bring up with any viewers. It's like, so if somebody's doing well with like a basic crossword or something, it's like, so maybe push to the next level, or a simpler Sudoku. It's like push up, and that's something else. Like grab something you find at like the drugstore, or like the crossword puzzles you find there, or for people who are having a little more difficult, like a word search or something like that, and then push to your next levels. Like try to find, even in the kids section, that's okay. Wherever you are, pick that up and try something, and then just move up, or adult coloring books or things like that, perhaps. So yeah, I mean, this is just an example of like some things you can do, and the socialization is key too. Any other final recommendations before we, it's like.
I think that things like the adult coloring could be helpful for someone who may have some fine motor problems as well. You may be able to think of things on your own that will challenge you for things that in areas that you have that you're not as good at.
Right.
Ask people around you for suggestions.
Yeah.
I think companionship is good. I think other people are really good for us. Company, but they can also give us feedback.
Yeah, definitely true. Even like silly things like maybe punch buggy or like whatever. What I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but if you're playing in the car, or like call out the license plates, things we used to do as kids, could be useful too. All right, I just want to thank you for sharing your time, and I want to thank Janice for being kind enough to do the same. And it's like, because this helps, and it's like a lot of people get sent home from the hospital. It's like they may be kicked out from the ED or whatever, but they're finding they're having cognitive problems. So, it's like, try some simple stuff like here, which you see, and these are just as good for your brain and the socialization too. So I just want to say thanks very much, and, hope you have a good one, and I appreciate, it's like, thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Bye.